Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're taking a look at a weapon that I haven't tried out in quite some time, the MTAR 21 Carbine. Now, as you guys might remember, this gun used to have an assault rifle damage model, which DICE have since patched. Like pretty much everyone else, I was a big fan of this gun before it got patched, and I was actually pretty interested to see how it had changed. When you take a look at the stats of the MTAR, you can see it's actually a pretty interesting gun. It now has the standard carbine damage model, dealing 25 damage out to 8 meters, which drops off to its minimum damage of 15.4 at 50 meters. It also fires at a super fast 900 RPM, which means this gun will easily chew through pretty much anyone at close range. Another thing that helps the MTAR in close quarters is its hipfire accuracy, which is a fair bit better than most of the other ARs because this weapon is a bullpup design. Now, unfortunately, a bullpup design does have its disadvantages too. It reloads pretty slowly with a tactical reload of 2.4 seconds and an empty reload of 3 seconds. It's also not as accurate when standing as a conventional AR, but it makes up for this by being slightly more accurate when on the move. All in all, long-range kills are just not that easy with the MTAR because, as well as its accuracy issues, it also has a pretty reasonable kick and an average muzzle velocity of 540 meters per second. The biggest issue with this weapon though is the fact that it has a 2.8 times first shot recoil multiplier, which is worse than every other carbine. What this means is that tap firing this weapon can be frustrating, and this will really limit the range you can engage targets at. But anyway, you guys are probably wondering how this weapon performs in-game. Well, I can definitely say I don't like this gun as much as I did. I mean, the MTAR was clearly overpowered before it was patched, so I'm not surprised it's not as good now, but I thought I'd enjoy it this time around much more than I actually did. The problem with this gun is that it's a bit too much like a PDW. You really have to consciously tell yourself not to shoot at anyone beyond close range because 9 times out of 10, they'll end up turning around and killing you. Another issue is that although it's great in close quarters, I can think of half a dozen guns that are as good or if not better than this. While you're trying to line up a guy with a semi-auto shotgun, he'll most likely have already pumped a few shots into you. The big problem with close quarters in general though is that most of the time the deciding factor in a close quarters gunfight isn't the gun itself. Reaction time can be far more important than how fast your gun fires, and sometimes it just comes down to luck. At mid-range though, quite often the deciding factor is the gun, and this is where the MTAR will let you down. Battlefield 4 is such a mid-range game, and when you run with a gun like this, you're gonna get forced to play in small areas of the map. Sure, the MTAR will hold its own better than a PDW in most situations, but if I had the choice, I'd run with the AK-5C or the ACE-21 over the MTAR any day. So bearing all this in mind, what attachments would I recommend for the MTAR? Well, a lot of people like to use attachments that balance out a gun's weaknesses, and to do this with the MTAR, you need to definitely run with the angled grip. This will help control that initial kick of the gun and may help you reach out to a bit longer range. A muzzle brake and a stubby grip combo would help with this as well. The other way to run this gun would be to add attachments that further improve on what the gun is already good at. The ergo grip will help you to be a bit more mobile and will improve your hipfire accuracy, so it's a good choice because ultimately run and gun is what carbines are all about. The laser sight will also tighten up that hipfire spread so that it's almost rivaling PDWs. In close quarters, this will really help out your time to kill because most of the time you won't need to aim down your sights at all. The other attachment I ran most of the time on this gun was the suppressor, which will give you yet another edge in close quarters. You may have noticed I'm combining this with an aggressive recon loadout using the motion balls and the tugs. This will help you take the random element out of close quarters and hopefully chain together longer kill streaks. The only attachments I wouldn't run with this gun are the higher powered optics and the heavy barrel. This gun isn't going to work at long range, so there's no point cutting down your field of view or adding more recoil to help out at these ranges. So anyway, to wrap up this review, the MTAR is not bad, but it's not excellent. There's a reason why people use the ACE-23 all the time and not the AEK, and this is the exact reason why the MTAR isn't the most popular carbine in BF4. Don't get me wrong though, destroying people in close quarters is fun, but it's also pretty unpredictable. So if you haven't already tried out the MTAR, then go and give it a go, but I'd only recommend trying it out on TDM and domination maps like Locker and Zavod 311. For Conquest, Rush, or anything else, I'd probably just try a different gun. But anyway guys, that's it, and as always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And if you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below. And if you have any suggestions for weapons or loadouts that you'd like to see in future episodes on this channel, then let me know in the comments of this video or send me a tweet on Twitter at BillyEatWorld. But anyway guys, until next time, see you later and have a good one.